Morning. Hi, Alien here with an alien view. Yesterday I made a video and I'm kind of disappointed with myself. I made the video when I was really pissed off, and that's no good. I got emotional. I'll tell you, when I was making that video, my hand was shaking. I was so fired up. I told you before, I live here in Bangkok. It's halfway around the world from Toronto, which is why I'm here. When I thought about where I was going to go from Canada in my quest to help the world be a better place, I sort of spun the globe, and Thailand, Bangkok is almost exactly halfway around the world from Toronto. My thinking was, when I came here, was, how can we make the world a better place? Well, I thought maybe if everybody spoke the same language, things would be easier to keep peaceful and calm. After being here almost 20 years, I understand that language is part of it, but not all of it, because language involves feeling. And where I live in Thailand here, it's a tonal language. There's 5 different tones. So you can say the same thing in this tone, and it's a positive, a nice thing to say. But you can say it in a lower tone, and you're telling somebody to go, you know. Language is words, but just because the words are spoken doesn't mean they mean the same thing to everybody. So here in Thailand, people call me Teacher John. The reason is all teachers here are respected, like doctors back home. When teachers talk to each other, it's Teacher A, Teacher Somo, whoever the teacher is, you address them as teacher. It's a sign of respect. Students do it, parents do it, people in general do it. And because for the first few years I was here, I was a teacher, people still call me Teacher John. It feels good, I like it. So today, after watching many videos about what's going on in Canada with the Freedom Convoy, people are fighting, and it's not really a fight. It's a fight in each individual person to get out what they feel. That inspires me. That makes me feel good. I like to inspire people to be who they are and to speak out. Not because you heard it on TV, but because you're feeling it in here. If you can let out what's in here, it's going to be true for you. And I understand what's true for me is not true for you. And I ask you, if you make comments, don't call me an idiot. You can call my idea stupid. I'm okay with that. Come up with a better one. But don't insult me as a person. When I make comments to somebody or on Facebook or whatever, I never insult the person. I might not agree with the idea, but don't insult the person. That doesn't accomplish anything. Yesterday, I watched a video from Canada. The Ottawa police arresting an old man for honking his horn. The people all around were going, communists, 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 communists. They weren't communist people. That's fascist. So today, I'm going to talk about something I've thought about a lot, and being here, I'm surrounded here by authoritarian dictatorships, communist countries. Got a little bit of an idea what's going on. A year and a half ago, I sat up in a communist country called Laos, or as John Kennedy would say, Laos, and talked to a Russian guy. And you know what he told me? Nobody in Russia wants anything to do with any type of war. He told me almost every family in Russia has had a family member that's known to most of the family die in war. They want nothing to do with it, according to him. Now, of course, that was his opinion, but that's what he told me. We sat there for a couple hours and talked, It was ironic. He drank Coke. I drank water because I don't touch soft drinks. So today I'm going to do a quick video, and we're going to talk about what I consider main forms of repression. None of this has to be the way it is. As humans, as I said in my last video, we make all the rules. We can change all the rules. If we don't like a law, Canada legalized pot. 10 years ago, you'd be put in jail for smoking pot. How does that work? Personally, I think Justin legalized pot because he didn't want his mom getting in trouble for getting a criminal record. So, anyway, that's just a little bit of joke. For me, that guy kept calling the police communist. Okay, this is a definition. I usually use the Oxford Dictionary. I like the Oxford Dictionary because the Webster Dictionary doesn't have as many words in it. Anyway, communism, a social system in which property and goods are held in common. Democracy, government by the people through elected representation. It was kind of funny. Yesterday I was looking at the Conservative Party leader, the opposition in Canada. He quit, and I was looking at what are the requirements to run as for leader of that Conservative Party. You have to come up with $300,000. Well, I'll tell you what, that cuts out an awful lot of people. People like me, we would never have enough money to run. So does that really make it representation? Not sure. I'm going to try and give you my view. You can have your own. But there's 338 ridings in Canada and about 33 million people. So we got we're really well represented in government. But on the other hand, how much does it cost? There's 330-odd thousand people work for the government, for crying out loud. Anyway, so Canada is definitely not communist. It's probably not headed to communism. In fact, in Canada, 89% of the land, I got the figures right here. I was just looking at it. Now, who owns the land of Canada? Solely owned by Queen Elizabeth II, who's also head of state. Only 9.7% of the total land in Canada is privately owned, while the rest is Crown land. 41% federal and 48% provincial. So really, the Queen owns most of Canada. Definitely not held in common. Now, we're going to get into what I consider 5 main types of government, whatever people want to call them, that's what it is. Fascism. Fascism, a dictator who government controls business and labor with no opposition. Now that's what Hitler and Mussolini were. Hitler worked with business and labor to build his armies to try and conquer the world. Socialism. It's resource industry and transport owned and managed by the state. That's starting to sound a little bit more like Canada. What doesn't Canada's governments control? I started to get involved back in the 70s when they took over the milk industry. They formed the milk board, and they stopped us from selling milk to the cheese factory down the road. Changed everybody's life. So many friends of mine and so many people I know lost their farms, couldn't afford to farm anymore because the government took over milk. Well, Canadians, you know what? The government controls your milk, your eggs, your beef, your pork, your wheat, ... It goes on and on. Your gambling, your booze, and now your pot. like getting close to socialism. Bureaucracy, excessive paperwork and red tape. Canada. In Ontario alone, there's like 32 different cards you can get to prove your signature, but only 4 to prove what your face is. I know. I just spent 7 months in Canada trying to get ID. It isn't easy. I was born there. And I have my old ID. But because it's outdated, I guess my pictures change. No, I'm not getting older, I'm getting better. Anyway. Bureaucracy, socialism, fascism, democracy, and communism. What this keeps saying and what people keep saying is they want their freedom. Okay? Free, not under control of another. Not under control of another. And the definition of freedom is being free. So freedom means not being under the control of another person. Impossible. So quit saying it. I like peace, but it's impossible. Any person who's been married or is married, peace is not possible. Even with your wife and your family, you're always squabbling. But if we can't be at peace, at least we can stop wars. And once we stop the wars, let's see what happens. Okay? But quit with this communism nonsense, because communism is total control of a system. China's not like that either. They're not stupid. I've been in 4 communist countries in the last few years. And the people aren't under control the way people in the West think they are. The government controls the government. But because the government is controlling everything, what they have to do is stop the people from getting pissed off and revolting. So what do? They let people live. I live in Thailand here. We have no property tax. We pay a 7% VAT on things we buy, value-added tax on things we buy, which is included in the price before you buy it. So in Canada, you go in and you spend $1,000, they give you your bill and it's $1,150. Like, you buy a $30,000 car, you're paying like $4,000 tax. I'm not sure if I like that deal or not. So anyway, let's review. Communism, a social system, property and goods are held in common. No, that's not Canada. That's not China. That's not Russia. That's pretty much not anywhere. Because everywhere that people say is communist, there's a tier and a tier. And there's always a group at the top and a group at the bottom. Doesn't matter which system you're in. Now, it doesn't have to be that way. With the technology we have now, there's no reason that if the government wants to implement another law, they can't have a referendum on the phone. And there's no reason they can't. They'll tell you there's reason they can't because enough people won't do it. Well, 60% of the people vote now. Fascism. Looking at America. Socialism. Canada. Right there. Canada, in my opinion, is a socialist bureaucracy. America, let them judge for themselves. So, thank you for listening. Everybody just think. When I was a kid, my dad put a sign over top of my bed and it said, think. And God damn it, I haven't been able to stop for 60 years. So this is something I want everybody to think about. And we're going to go to the other side and we're going to do our word of the day. My word of the day is intelligence. Everybody, Canada, please use intelligence. And I don't mean finding out about everything everybody does. What the definition of intelligence is, in the Oxford Dictionary, is the ability to learn or understand. Learn. And to cope with a new situation. When something happens, things change. The world, like I said in my first video, we're going so fast, amazing we can even stay on the earth. But looking at that, is there even a past? Is there even a future? We don't know. Everything's happening right now. And everything that happens right now is new. So we're going to have to develop governments, whether it's I love Bob Marley. I believe in one love. I thought one world meant we were all going to get along together. I didn't realize what one world meant was that 8 people at the top are going to take everything while they give everybody else at the bottom the dredge. Anyway, so intelligence, let's use it. Come on, Canada. You can show the world we can set something up, and for the good of all the people, not just for the civil servants. The civil servants are never going to go against the government because they have a job. They can't lose. You can't. I work for the government. I work for the Attorney General of Ontario. Couldn't get fired. Some of the shit I did and I didn't get fired for. If you stay, you rise. You go up in the ranks. Doesn't matter if you do a better job at your time. Lets you move up in the ranks of the civil service. Okay? They're not gonna, and at the end of it all, if you put in 20 or 25 years at a desk doing nothing, you get a really nice pension and you can spend the rest of your life in a cottage. Okay, so you gotta, anyway, think about it. For today, my warning, beware of Trump. Who is Trump? That was Donald Trump's grandfather, who in 1904 got, after being in America, went back to Germany and got kicked out of Germany because he didn't serve in the army. So ironically, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. But why I say beware of Trump, I just want to show you. This is one of my favorite books. I think every parent should buy one of these for their kid. This book tells me how deep the oceans are, how big everything is, all the different countries of the world. It was funny, I was looking at this book, and did you know Mississippi? The state of Mississippi is 5 square miles bigger than North Korea, which is 12,000 miles away from continental United States. Better worry about that crazy North Korean guy. Anyway, so why I say beware of Trump, I want you to just focus in on this a little bit and look at North America. Now, I'm not a general by any means, but if I wanted to take over North America, I'm not going to build a wall there. I'm going to build a wall here. They already have a canal there. There's a natural wall there. All these people are subjugated by the United States, United Fruit Company, all the different companies that rape these lands here to provide America with fruit and food, and the people here can't eat themselves. So, look at the big picture, Canada. Beware. The North American Union's been thought about for a long time, and after coming from here and going over there, I see signs of it all over the place. If they want to take over, they're going to take over North America, they're going to build the wall there. We can talk about later about countries in South America that Henry Kissinger set up governments in supportive of the United States policy. At least 11 of them were dictators, and most of them still run their countries. So, thank you for listening. I hope I can help some people learn some stuff. I realize everybody's really busy. Everybody's trying to make a living. It's not easy in this world, even though we have all the technology and we waste more food than most countries have. I realize everybody's got to do for themselves and their family. But when you're doing that, think about how everything you do affects everything else. It's one world. It's one world. 7 billion of us little ants running around on a world that we have to live together or we're going to destroy it all. That's my goal. My goal is to try and make people aware and feel good about yourself. Don't. Life is life. You know the end. You get up in the morning, you go out and you play your part in your job, you come home and you become yourself. I don't know if that's a really good way to live. But just remember, shit, I forget what I was going to say now. But we're all in it together. Cut. Okay, so we know the end. In the end of it all, we're all going to end up dead. And 50 years after we're dead and gone, nobody's going to even know we lived. But all of us together, all 7 billion of us get together, and we can make the world better for the 10 billion that are going to be here in 100 years. Okay? There's lots of room. Let's get our energies together. Thank you for watching. I love everybody. Some of the people I'm listening to now, like Russell and Joe and Jimmy and James and Polly and Kim. I love these people. They're doing all the work for me. And they got people doing the work for them. And I'm assuming when I talk about, I was going to do a video about this. I'm going to do a video about this later, because after I was researching more about Operation Paperclip, I had heard about, but not researched, Operation Matchbox. Operation Paperclip brought Nazis from Germany to the US. Operation Matchbox, the Nazis went to Canada. So I'm doing a little bit more research about that, and before I do the clip about the book. And I'm hoping that these books are published, that the information in them is true. So thanks for watching. I'll do the reading for you if you want to spend a little bit of time with me and listen to me and the alien view. Thanks a lot.